Ride the wild wind. Hey, 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 hey.
Hello everyone, I'm Bora, co-founder and CEO of Kavaken, and welcome to this new episode of Ride the Wild Wind, where we talk about anything and everything to make wind energy more profitable. And as you can see, today we have a special edition, a special episode of the podcast, because we're actually doing it in person with a very well-known, well-respected expert from the wind industry, Mårten Nilsson. Mårten, thank you for joining us and thank you for visiting us in our office. Very nice to have you.
You're welcome. Yeah, thanks a lot.
So we're going to be talking about a variety of things, leveraging the huge amount of expertise that Mårten brings to the table. I'll let him talk about that first, but he is the guy who founded these O2O roundtables or forums where the asset owners come together and discuss how they can benefit from the learnings of each other. Again, for them to benefit, but also for the industry to benefit from it as well. So Mårten, before we get started, would you mind telling us a little bit about how this idea came about? Because it's a novel idea.
Yeah.
How did it occur to you? How did you start O2O?
Well, it's nothing new. There is these collaborations has been going on forever. So like the 35 years. There's an ongoing one in Denmark. It's
Okay.
like 30 years. But for me, I was running a training company.
Right.
We had the biggest wind farm operation conference in Europe. We had gearbox trainings, contract negotiations, etc. But then I put together like a small little, I call them an advisory board. It was 6 owners in the Nordics. And we met from lunch to lunch. We went to a restaurant in the evening. And the interactivity was high all the way through. And I just realized that this is the best meetings I have.
Yeah.
And I mean, the reason for me was to listen and then launch new trainings. But after one of these, I stayed in a phone call for 2 hours with a person called Sverre Trollnes, who was then head of operations at Statoil.
Right.
And we sort of discussed, couldn't we take this little group of only 6 people and turning it into something much bigger? So we will have a much higher number of brains who knows wind farm operations, and also to have a better hit rate so that you can actually find someone who has solved or is in the process of solving the issues that you have.
Right.
So we hang up. I started first to do like a formal summary,
Right.
and then I just throw that away, and I just wrote invitation to become a founding partner, and then I just made up a price tag far too low,
Right.
and send it off to Sverre. And then I waited like a week, and I called him back and asked if I can come to Oslo to negotiate. And then he was evil. He told me, you don't have to come here. And the evilness was when he was silent for like 1-2 seconds. But then he continued. He said it has already been sold.
No need to negotiate.
No.
Nice.
So the price tag again.
Yeah.
But then he also said that we can't have one founding partner for a collaboration. So he sent me out for a hunt, and in north of Sweden I had Skellefteå Kraft, and then Vattenfall, and then RWE, and then Luminous in middle of Europe, and then Acciona Energia and Naturgy as they're called today.
Yeah.
So these 7 founding partners, we got together 21st of October 2014 in Madrid, and have been in operations
Since then. So 12 years.
Yeah,
12,
something
11
like that.
years.
Time flies.
And the numbers are pretty impressive. You were telling me a minute ago before we started. Do you want to talk about those numbers? How many sessions you had until now, approximately?
I don't know. I know maybe on an annual basis.
Yeah.
I don't know. We have 15 user groups today, and then there is different needs within them. Some of them are very, very small,
Right.
because it's just a member who come to me, like Ecotechnia, for an example. That's very old, very small turbines, but it's a lot of issues for the owners. So it's a smaller one, but they have a need to meet. So there's less meetings, but I don't know, like 40 something meetings a little bit more when we gather. That's what we do. We
You
gather.
gather and
We
talk.
gather members operating the same turbine model.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
All right. And it's only for asset owners, by the way, for those who may not be aware of O2O.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's just. I mean, there is a lot of people who has an enormous amount of knowledge who are consultant or ISPs or working for OEMs, but it's just that it doesn't make the trick.
Correct.
If you work for an owner, you have erected your turbines, you have a lease contract for 50 years, you are not competitors for that specific wind farm anymore.
Yep. And that's why people can speak more freely. That's why you see a lot more collaboration and fruitful discussions coming out of it.
Yeah.
Because
They're
you're
not
focusing-
competitors. We have sort of identify a segment where they are not competing. So that's
in the value
operations.
chain, there's a
Yeah.
certain period where once the farm is up and running, they're not in competition anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
So
All right. So let's start diving into some of the discussions that are happening in those forums or in those roundtables, as we call them. If someone were to, well, let me ask you this first. Do you see any common themes that are coming out in these forums, or is it like something different every single time we meet?
no,
Are there any recurring themes?
Yeah, no, there are common. I mean, there is one. It's not too exciting. It's not futuristic or anything like that. It's all the leaks going on in the hubs. So
over the years, we still have oil leaks.
yeah. So I'm just gonna try to put together a webinar on that and try together. Another one is blade bolts falling off.
Okay. All right.
Still not too sexy, you know, but it's a recurring issue, and sometimes they fall down to the ground, and it becomes a health and safety issue.
Well,
And
yeah.
it's that's also something that we can see going on.
And you were telling me that you have asset owners that are joining in all the way from Asia Pacific to, Latin America, right? So and everything in between. Obviously, the European participants as well.
Yeah.
Do you see any difference in the type of problems or type of things they're discussing? Are there any geographical differences in terms of what people are bringing to the table?
I think that, that's what's so amazing with this industry. It's extremely complex. Everything is sort of connected. Like
Right.
if Putin is having a bad morning and this one happens and this one, it affects everything. You
Right.
know, it's amazing in that way. And to answer your question, I don't know if it answers, but every country have their specific conditions. So maybe you have a lot of big rivers, and then you're fixed. It's not an issue. You have all your hydro, etc.
Right.
Australia, they have sand issues.
Yeah, right.
Japan it's a smaller island with a lot of people, and it's very deep, and they have
Deep
their
water,
conditions.
Okay.
How they have to solve this.
But are the, let's say, operations and maintenance issues, are they common?
Then I go back to the sand in Australia. No,
Okay.
No, but
Or is
I
it
mean,
oil leakage and bolts everywhere?
no, but you have one thing maybe that's like countries who started earlier are more on top.
Okay.
So well in Europe, so Denmark and Germany and Spain is maybe a little bit more
Okay.
advanced, and
Okay.
then if you speak to people outside Europe, they consider Europe being more advanced. It's only because they've been doing it for a longer time.
And are they benefiting? Maybe that's one reason they're participating in these forums, to learn all the lessons that have been learned in a quicker way.
Yeah.
From the European
Yeah,
counterparts?
maybe. But it's also become like it's very people oriented. So if someone from like my members in Pakistan, they are extremely knowledgeable, come very well prepared with all different kind of information. So in that way, it's a little bit people based as well. You can't really say that they represent the whole country. It's maybe
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you mentioned that some people or some companies or might be a bit more advanced than others, or some countries. Are there any? Well, I'll ask maybe two questions in one. do you see any new trends? So some of the companies or some of the participants are bringing up, and the others are like, huh, okay, that's interesting. I never thought about that. Do you see any new trends like that popping up? New topics that are not, oil leakage is known everywhere around the world now, probably.
Yeah.
Do you see any new themes that are popping up?
Yeah, we organize this. We have this once a year. We have this physical gathering.
Right.
So it was in November last year in Madrid, and I spoke to one of the guys there I've known for a long time, and just what he thought. So it's 2 days. It's divided into 5 sessions. For each session, you choose among 8 different alternatives which different topics you want to be involved in.
Right.
And I asked him, and he said, well, there is a common thread among all the different tables I choose, Chinese turbines.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a big one now. It's the openness they have. They give access to PLC and converter, etc., in a way that others don't do.
Right.
Then there is a lot more knowledge about how you can use AI. So that's another thing. But I guess it's the same for all industries. They wonder how they can make
Better
use of
leverage
this.
of AI. Yeah.
But I mean, they are investing a lot of money in it to come on top of this. Yeah.
So you were mentioning that the Chinese turbine it's a big theme, and obviously, and you were saying they're a bit more open, more transparent in certain ways.
Yeah.
Can you think of an example without going into any proprietary information or giving out any names? But can you think of an example where you've seen this openness that maybe we haven't seen on the Western suppliers?
Yeah, I know there was one owner who has Chinese turbines and had some questions about that and the control system.
Okay.
And then the Chinese OEM just mentioned the name of the Danish company who has developed that, and told them that you can just call them, say hello from me, and give them all your questions.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that also shows some confidence they have in the product as well. Okay. All right. Awesome. Asset owners, which is kind of what O2O is about anyway, is this collaboration in the industry and benefiting the entire industry as a result of this, right? Which is something as Kavaken we deeply care about as well. What more do you think can be done by the asset owners to increase this collaboration for the benefit of all? I mean, you're kind of spearheading these efforts, in my view at least. I'm not trying to flatter you or anything, but what you've done is quite unique in many respects. What more do you think the asset owners can do to increase this collaboration and so that it yields even more tangible results?
I think you can just have a look at what's being done within world-class industries.
Okay.
So they are having really interesting and very well-structured collaborations.
All right.
You see in aerospace, automotive, paper and pulp. They have one collaboration in paper and pulp. I went and visited them. It's up in the north of Sweden, so it's like the biggest companies. They own Sweden, they own Norway and Finland, so huge landowners.
Yes.
And they have this simple collaboration, and it says like this, that if you want to sell any piece of machinery to any of these companies,
Right.
you have to give the complete master data of all components in that machinery.
Okay.
Otherwise, you cannot sell. So it looks very interesting, but if you don't give that to us, you cannot sell that to us. So if you would have the same in the wind industry, it wouldn't change anything. Everybody could carry on selling.
Right.
But instead of having a situation where the asset owners are not able to digitalize processes in their supply chain, you would be able to do that because you need to have the master data to do that. So they have a simple collaboration in the forestry industry, and they have knowledgeable people who know how to sort of handle and take that information and make it available to all the members. I mean, imagine try to do that
It's yeah. Well, we're trying in a way.
Yeah, I know people from oil and gas who come from that industry.
Yep.
They've tried that,
Yep.
tried it, and they just, I mean, they also have 24 hours. So just sort of, no, it didn't work.
It didn't work.
But yeah, that's one example.
I think that's an excellent example, and it's something we care deeply about as well, and we're spending quite a bit of time on too. But we're not. I don't think we can give up, right? So, the one thing about the the wind industry, in a way, it's still relatively new compared to like oil and gas, automotive, paper and so forth. So there's some learnings that we can learn, and there's some level of maturity that the industry has to come to. Maybe we were a lot more protective some years ago. Well, kind of like we were saying, SCADA data was like a, off limits. Right now, it's become easily available. So maybe this will become as well. And in terms of the data, I know you've had some efforts, and you're still doing it. Is data coming up in your discussions, and what's the view between the asset owners around maybe using data as a knowledge sharing platform? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we have a project that's ongoing. It was presented to the top directors at our most recent top director meeting, and we have 3 energy companies who have come together and created like a first draft on how to create a common pool of turbine sensor data. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's a huge potential in that. Mm-hmm. I think that they can access the data on their end, and I do think that AI will add a lot of value to such an initiative. So I mean, it's something we're discussing and hopefully can go forward with.
Right, so it's good. So this joint industry project concept is becoming more and more accepted, and data seems to be taking a big part of that. Very happy to hear that. Well, as we get towards the end, there's this one final question I ask everyone. But before I get there, is there anything else that we haven't really touched upon, but since we have the opportunity, you'd like to mention to our viewers?
I don't know. I think we're gathering owners operating the same turbine model.
Right.
We have wind turbines that are serial produced machines, right, with serial produced weaknesses, and our suggestion is to not trying to map those weaknesses isolated, mm-hmm, but to come together and on a purely technical level sort of map those and
benefit from each other. All right. So my final question is, I assume you like the wind industry, otherwise you wouldn't be in the industry and doing all these things for the benefit of the industry. But there must be things that you don't like about the wind industry as well, like we all have. So what is the one thing that you don't like about this industry, that if you could change, you would?
Before I was going into wind, I was working with Swedish manufacturing companies like Scania, my favorite Swedish company, and other forward-thinking, lean companies, etc. So I don't know if I dislike it. It's just like wind is not really there. But I'd like to have. They don't sort of. They fix things, and they have this complete machinery, and they just solve issues and know where they want to go, etc. So maybe I'm looking forward to that. But I mean, it's coming there as well. It's new things every year. It's opening up. It's more possibilities, etc. So,
okay. Yeah. All right. Well, Mårten, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to all our viewers for listening to us. It was great to have it in person. We usually do this online. And I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And we hope to see you in our next episode of Ride the Wild Wind. Have a great day. Ciao.